Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this video is on linear quadratic systems, right? Part 2. So as we discussed today in class, I told you I would do another problem, and I told you it would be number 8 from today's worksheet. So let's get right to it. Hopefully you can see right here, if I go ahead and minus 2x both sides, I can solve for y very easily, right? So with 2x minus 2x gone, notice I now have y equal to 3 minus 2x. 3 minus 2x. Now some of you may be thinking, hey, why not solve for x? We've been solving for x a lot, right? Well, notice the x here, follow the red, has a 2 in front. So guys, unless you want to deal with dividing by 2 and getting fractions, then we ought to avoid that, right? So the whole point is, why not solve for that y right there? Because it's just a 1y. Okay, so next step, hopefully you know now, I'm going to take 3 minus 2x, and I'm going to plug it in for y. Now, there's only one y this time. Normally there's more than one, but there's only one y. Let's see what we got now. We have right here 5x squared, of course, minus 3. And y squared, remember y is now 3 minus 2x squared. So we have that minus 3y squared covered. We also have there a plus 20x. And of course, minus 78 equal to 0. And of course, we're going to follow PEMDAS and do the power first. Then we're going to do the negative 3 next, distribute that, and then finally we can combine like terms. So remember what I told you before, guys. Take the time to go ahead and write out your squared problem. So I'm going to do the squared problem right here. So this, hope you agree, is 3 minus 2x squared. And so here I go. 3 times 3, of course, is 9. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6x. Negative 2x times 3 is negative 6x. And negative 2x times negative 2x is plus 4x squared. Now let's not forget that all we did was the squared part, right? This part right here. So now I need to take this and make sure I times by negative 3. So let's see what we get now. We're going to get negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. Negative 3 times negative 6 is plus 18x. Again, another plus 18x. And then finally, negative 3 times 4x squared is negative 12x squared. Now everything I have in red there, guys. And let me go ahead and change colors. Let's follow the green here. So does everybody understand? All I did was what I did in green, right there, circled in green, right? So does everybody agree? I still have the 5x squared in front. Let me be a little bit neater there. So I have a 5x squared in front, right? And I also have this 20x there. I also still have minus 78 equal to 0. Finally, we have an expression that doesn't have any parentheses or extra exponents or whatever in it, right? So we can combine like terms. So let's see here. I see a 5x squared there and a minus 12x squared there. So let's go to another screen. So 5x squared minus 12x squared, I hope you agree, is negative 7x squared. Okay. Now what do we have here? Let's do the x's. 18 and 18 is 36x, plus 20 more makes 56x, correct? 56x. So we also have a plus 56x. Okay, so let's see, that's a 6 right there, guys. So let's see what else finally we have. Let's do our numbers here. So our numbers are negative 27 there, and another negative 78. So they're both negative. I'm going to add. I'm getting negative 90, negative 105. And again, guys, don't forget to use your calculator if you're struggling with the bigger numbers. So we have a negative 105, correct? Of course, it's equal to 0. So we have a standard form equation here, notice. Right? This right here, standard form, equal to 0. We're going to solve using quadratic formula, right? Okay? But, again, I just want to remind you guys, as we're starting to get better with our factoring skills, could I not, for example, just look at the numbers here. Follow the blue here. If you look carefully enough, guys, I can actually factor out a 7 if I needed to, couldn't I? And so, this is one other way I could have done it. Or I could actually factor it out negative 7, but I just want to point out, guys, if you just factor out the 7, notice that you have a much simpler problem that you can solve. Let's see, 7 goes in 105 once, 15 times. Okay? So again, follow the purple. This right here, guys, is what I would prefer to try to solve by factoring out a GCF of 7. Okay? But let's assume the worst, and you are still right here with the red. Everybody follow the red there. And so we could just solve that, even though it's bigger numbers. We can solve that using the quadratic formula, right? So let's get started here. Does everybody agree A would be negative 7? Again, that number in front of x squared is my A. My B is 56. Again, the number or coefficient in front of x is your B. And my C is negative 105, right? That's that constant right there. Okay, so we're ready for the quadratic formula. Here we go. The negative of B plus or minus square root. We're going to take the B, that's 56 there, squared. Okay, 56 squared. Minus 4 times the A times the C. Okay. Hopefully I didn't make any silly mistakes there. And we're going to divide that by 2 times the A. And that's a 7 right there, negative 7. Okay, so let's see here. Well, follow the green. Does everybody agree we do have negative 56? We also have in our denominator negative 14, plus or minus. Now we have to do all of this square root there in our calculator, correct? So guys, again, it's very important. Some of you guys have been reluctant to use your calculator. You got to practice with your calculator. Get good with the powers, the parentheses, the negatives, etc. But anyways, so if you do all of that in the calculator, let's see what you would get. Oops, I went too far there, sorry. So notice, guys, if I take 56 squared there, minus 4 times A times C, I get 196, don't I? And notice when I do the square root of 196, I get 14. So again, practice with your calculator. Make sure you get the same results as me. So going back to the problem here, I now know that that whole mess right here in blue becomes 14. So let's finish up the problem here. I know this leads us to negative 56 plus 14 divided by negative 14, right? It also gives us negative 56 minus 14 divided by negative 14. And negative 56 plus 14, well, that's negative, what is that? Negative 42. And when I divide by negative 14, I get positive 3. And when I do negative 56 minus 14, I get negative 70 divided by negative 14 is positive 5. Now remember, we were solving for x's this time, right? A lot of times, so follow the green up here, guys. Does everybody agree we started with that equation right there, or if you did this equation right there in green, you're solving for x's. So the 3 and the 5 are my x coordinates. And if we go back to the original equation, and again, you know, I don't have to erase there. I could see it right there. Hopefully you can. Let's see, I'll use purple. Can everybody see right there that y is 3 minus 2x, correct? Y is 3 minus 2x. So now, knowing that y equals 3 minus 2x, plugging in the 3 and the 5. Let's start with the 3. Y would be 3 minus 2 times 3. And 3 minus 6 is negative 3, correct? So I already have one of my points, okay? I know it's going to be x3, and since I don't have a lot of room, guys, I'm going to go to the next screen. We know that when x was 3, y was negative 3, correct? That's what we figured out. Let's see what else. I guess I better use a different color. Let's try red here. Now I'm going to try the 5 there, guys. So I know y would be 3 minus 2 times 5. And again, I just want to make sure I play it. So I get 3 minus 10, which is negative 7, correct? So what we just figured out is that when x is 5, y is negative 7. So here's my two solutions, guys. And just for a follow-up again, remember, let's see what the graph tells us. So right here, as you can see, I have the graph. Now, because we're IM2, you probably never ever seen a parabola, or sorry, hyperbola before. But guys, notice the red curve, okay? See right here and right here? That's a hyperbola, okay? Again, you don't need to know that right now, but notice that is a hyperbola. And notice, of course, the blue line cutting through here. And it's just cutting through the right side of the hyperbola. And notice how it crosses right there at 3, negative 3, and 5, negative 7, right? Again, let me just clean this up real quick. Notice again right here, they touch at 3, negative 3, and then right there at 5, negative 7. And what you know, that's exactly what I got here, right? 3, negative 3, and 5, negative 7. Again, 3, negative 3, 5, negative 7. So guys, hopefully this video will help you. Guys, remember, this is on the final. You cannot pretend or avoid this. This is going to be critical as well, learning to solve systems, especially for next year. Okay? So looking beyond this year, we got to know this for next year. So I hope you got something out of it again. And again, I'll just pause the video right here, since that has most of the work. And until next time, bye.